think we want to wait just a minute or so more to let a few more people join. They're running a little late.
Okay, so the idea is to place my laptop somewhere stable, right? And speak.
Yeah, I think that'll work really well. As long as you've got kind of places around the gallery where you can
right. I can easily set up one extra place. So let me run and set it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
And Yulia, I don't know if you have the waiting room feature set up, but could you check that nobody's waiting to come in?
Yes, I do have, and everybody are in.
All right, then let's get started. So I just wanted to say at the outset here, remind everybody of the things that I want them to be thinking about during this tour, because this tour is to support you as you are writing a short writing assignment about a work in this exhibition. So as we see some of the objects that are in this wonderful show, I want you to think about choosing a work that fits in some way within the history of portraiture, or that speaks in some way to traditions of portraiture. And we've explored a lot of those already. So you know how wide that kind of, how wide the possibilities are here. And whether you choose to do the analytical option or the creative option, this is the issue that you'll be exploring in the paper, the relationship between your object, the object you've chosen, and the history or traditions of portraiture. So have that in mind as we go through this virtual gallery tour with the expert guidance of the coordinator of gallery services at Eastern, Yulia Tikhonova. Thank you so much for doing this for us, Yulia.
Oh, my pleasure, Professor Doyle. Thank you so much for inviting your class to come to our gallery. And I see some students who I actually know from my past teaching, and they should really excel in your class because they studied some museum practices and they're familiar with the gallery operations. So they should and they should also ask me questions. So please do not hesitate to ask questions as I do my tour. So
yeah, can we let students know how they can ask questions?
Well, they can put them in chat. I can see chat here. They can also raise hand and yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I have chat open as well. And Maeve, do you see the chat option? Can you monitor or not really?
Yes, I can monitor. I'll break in when there's a question.
Okay, wonderful. So welcome to Heroinity, our current exhibition. And the title is, the title of this exhibition is rather interesting, rather unusual. We use the word hero, and we applied it to women artists, right? So we have heroine, and if we think about act of being a hero, right? A heroine, then this word becomes heroinity. So this exhibition is about 7 exceptional women artists who have been working on the vanguard of feminist art making, and we call them heroines. And the act of their art making can be described as heroinity, right? So this is a little bit of history behind this rather unusual title. But otherwise, this exhibition is perfectly set up for the subject of this class, portraiture, right? We have 7 artists who portray themselves as different heroes, as different people, as different personas. They engage different costumes, role play, and text as well to articulate themselves as different people, as different actors, right? So again, we publish this catalog, and I will be happy to send a copy, and I think I sent a copy to Professor Doyle, but I can resend it again. You will find a lot of information that talks about the exhibit. It's not all about portraiture, but you can certainly use some language. It's a lot about theatricality, a lot about role play, and when you think about portraits, right, this is exactly what the artist trying to do. They trying to visualize different people, different characters, but they also, of course, always imply their own interpretation, their own character. And especially in this exhibition, the majority of portraits are self-portraits. So this is a very popular genre amongst artists to make a portrait, and probably you as artists, as many of you are artists yourself, right? And this is an immediate subject, right? You bring a mirror in front of yourself, and here you are. You don't need to go far. Here you and your portrait is there. So you have to just only take your paint or sketch pad, your pencil, and start drawing or painting your self-portrait. So these women are the same, right? Their own images are always with them. They don't need to find another model. So they all engage in self-portraiture. And when you have when you do your self-portrait, then you have to really incorporate a lot of your own understanding of your own character or your own reading or your own interpretation of your role in or the role that you'd like to play in the society or in your family, wherever you go, right? We all play different roles, as you know. We are sisters, we are daughters, we are wives, we will be wives. So these are all different roles we are playing in our society. We are students, we are co-workers, we are colleagues, and it's all at the same time. We play all these different roles. So when we look at this artist work, imagine them playing all these different roles in the society. So let me start from this wonderful portrait by Cindy Sherman. This is a self-portrait, and you are probably familiar with this artist. She has been working in the same manner of self-portraits for the last 4 decades. So her early work, some of you remember from studying art history, her early work are dated from 1970. It's self-portraits as well, black and white, very small photographs of Cindy Sherman impersonating or portraying or photographing herself as an actress of early movies, of movies of 1960s, 1970s. She started as early as being young and graduating after going to an art school. And here we see also Cindy Sherman 40 years later as an actress in the film noir of the 1920s, right? You can see her wearing this beautiful dress or beautiful coat with the fur, having a cigarette. Her hair is made in a very tight manner. So every part of this portrait, every detail of this portrait give away a time period, right? She is very composed in that time of 1920s, black and white movies, and she is the prima donna, main actress, leading actress, and female fatale as well. So if you are not familiar with these words, look them up. Female fatale is a very popular word for women of the 1920s movies, right? A dramatic figure and acting out, figure that acts out. I have seen in my past life, I have seen a lot of Cindy Sherman's work in the museums. As you know, that she's very collectible, and almost every museum in America has a piece by Cindy Sherman. But not until we brought this artwork in the gallery, I became aware of her mastery, of the mastery of this artist. Her details are superb. Her thought about each detail of her dress, of her makeup is so exceptional. And this is a specifically beautiful portrait. She is known for her different periods when she explored different subject matters and placed herself in different situations. But this portrait is very, very fitting into the subject of our exhibition. So this is the main artwork, and we placed it on the title wall where we normally place, we normally hang the work of art that stands for the entire exhibition. So this is why I also started from this piece. Okay, so we have only one artwork by Cindy Sherman, and let me move to another artist in the exhibition. So I will place my laptop as well here, and let me know if you see the artwork by Laura Elkins.
Looks great, but I think if we can move a little closer, we'll get a better view.
Yeah, I understand. She is.
That's good.
Her work is smaller. So, and it's also water-based paint, right? So her work, these three portraits, and you probably can recognize the face of a young woman who is portrayed in these portraits. Who is she? Can we have a guess? Okay, so the name of the artist is Laura Elkins, and the name of the person that Laura Elkins paints is Greta. Remind me her last name. Thunderberg, right? Thunberg, yes. So Laura Elkins paints herself as Greta Thunberg, the peace activist who became known very recently for her very outspoken public presentations about climate change. Significantly, we can see here that Laura Elkins paints herself in the open air, right? Plain air. This is a French term that artists in France, impressionist artists, are known for. Painting on plain air means painting outdoors, right? So Laura Elkins paints herself outdoor on a seashore of Florida. Actually, she went to an artist residence in Florida, Panhandle, and this is where she created these self-portraits. What's interesting here as well that Laura uses the water-based paint. It's acrylic on canvas, so we really understand the nature exhibited or painted in these three portraits. We feel the nature, we feel the rain, we feel the sea breeze, because Elkins uses this transparent paint and leaves a lot of white canvas untouched. So we have this sense of freshness and fresh air, open air as well. Laura Elkins also uses wide brush strokes and rather abstract shapes. She doesn't give a lot of details. So overall, her portraits are very different from Cindy Sherman portrait that we saw early on. Cindy Sherman is very detailed, very composed, right? The composition is very thought through, very structured and very conventional, right? If you studied the rules and rules of portraiture, right, of court portraiture, Cindy Sherman work is a perfect example of the court and traditional portraits. Laura Elkins' portraits are quite different in this way, right? They are much more loosely composed, although two smaller work that are hang vertically, they are rather conventional. But still, you can talk about the difference in composition, in application of paint, in medium, and what kind of means were achieved by the artists through this different application. Okay. So let me move along the gallery so we can see the other work on view, because that's just the beginning of exploration of genre of paint, of portraiture. We are going to see the artwork by Marty Wilson, another pioneering woman of feminist theory, feminist discourse, who we are presenting in this exhibition. Cindy Sherman and Marty Wilson are of the same age, and they have been working in the genre of paint, of portraiture, for almost the same number of decades, about 4 decades. So, can you see Marty Wilson work?
Yes, the one at the left is cut off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many of these you want to fit in the frame.
Perhaps let's start from most recognizable image, Mona, Martha, Marge. Can you see it?
Yeah, that's perfect.
So Marty Wilson uses one of the most recognizable artwork by Leonardo da Vinci, and she portrays herself as Mona Lisa with a wig that is probably made of a duster, right? You can recognize a household duster that you use. Sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's pink, white, and you dust your furniture with this synthetic hair. So Marty Wilson, as a joke, as a pun, portrays herself wearing this artificial blue hair on her head. So there are several references that Marty Wilson makes here, and obviously one mostly recognizable is a joke on the super popularity of Mona Lisa, right? Mona Lisa became like a household name in our society. We can see her on a box of chocolate, on the calendars, wall calendars, everywhere. And another joke that this artist make, she references Marcel Duchamp and his interpretation of Mona Lisa as well. And also Salvador Dali, right? Who portrayed himself, I think, as Mona Lisa. Professor Doyle can correct me in numbering all these references, but certainly artists in the past have challenged the super popularity of certain artwork, because we know that many contemporary women artists have not achieved the same popularity, or even lesser popularity they are unable to achieve, not because they are lesser artists, not because they are less talented than Leonardo da Vinci, but because our society privileges male artists, privileges artists who are part of the mainstream culture, and majority of them men, and majority of them white men. And there is nothing new in this statement that I just made. And many women artists are still fighting for their recognition of their work, of their contribution to the art history. So Martha Wilson here makes this makes this remark on the super popularity of some artists, and exclusion to hundreds and hundreds of other artists who are often women, and especially women of color, and other artists and male artists of color, and also artists who are not who are part of the LGBTQ community. So they have been all excluded from the mainstream canon. So let's go further and look at the work by Martha Wilson. And obviously in the next two works, portraits, self-portraits and photographs, Martha Wilson addresses a very, very important issue for women, right? And you probably can tell me what she's talking about here in these two portraits. Any responses? Any thoughts?
Julie, I think you might have to turn the computer slightly to the left.
The left, okay. Is it better?
A little bit more to the left.
Is it better?
You just have to turn it a little to the left. Great. So what do you see in these two works, students? Oh, sorry, I had my mic up. Let's start with some description. What do you see?
Well, it's Ethan talking. I couldn't find the hand button, so so for the portrait on the right, the self-portrait, new wrinkles on the subject, is that kind of like a play in age? Something, I feel like it has something to do with like aging, like, or like when women age, or something to do with that. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what the message is, but I think it has something to do with like getting old. I don't know.
I
Good.
think
What
you
other
are
people see?
absolutely right, Ethan. Sorry, Maeve, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, I was just asking what other people saw. And if you agree with Ethan about this being something about getting older, how does Wilson represent age? Let's link this interpretation to description. What do you see here? So typed comment from Russ, the same lady portrayed differently and how one could be seen more valuable than the other. It definitely is something about age, and it's portrayed as getting older equals bad. So what is it about the way Martha Wilson has represented herself that sends that message? Or rather, that lets us see that message? Katie.
Like her face is split, you know, one half of it is all dolled up and has makeup and the other half is kind of barren and there's nothing really to it. It's almost like a split personality.
Good. What else do people see?
The artist, I think she like over exemplifies the wrinkles in the portrait on the right, like really it's almost like a very harsh very harsh contrast between the wrinkles and her normal like skin tone. Um I think that works really well in like exemplifying like age and showing that uh I don't know, the progress of age, I think.
Good. So Yulia, maybe you can tell us more about these. How exactly, how were these made? What did Wilson do to change or augment her appearance to send these messages about age and beauty?
Well, Martha worked with a makeup artist and with a photographer who the makeup artist applied that makeup on her eye, left eye, and then on her right portrait, on the right, he applied these wrinkles. Yes, they all applied with a pencil. And then she worked with a photographer who composed these two photographs in one photo on your left, right? And then she added the text on the bottom, which is a title and also gives us an understanding of the meaning of the work. Yes, you were very right about noticing that these two artworks are about aging. But there is something else that Wilson is trying to say. And especially, I think beauty is in the eye. This phrase gives us a clue about what else is going on in our culture generally, right? when we talk about young women and we talk about old women. So basically, Wilson is telling us that our society has an obsession with youth and privilege young women, and especially women who are beautiful, and our industry creates a lot of products that help women to stay younger or to make themselves look younger, to support this, the society privilege of youth. But we all know that when a woman gets older, she has much more wisdom, right? Everybody have more wisdom with age. So this is the question that Marty Wilson is trying to pose. And there is a word that you'd like to probably know. It's the term is ageism, right? Am I pronouncing it well?
Ageism, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the term that describes the bias, our society privilege, discrimination, our society's discrimination against older age. Okay, so these are two portraits that talks about ageism by Martha, self-portraits again. Let's look at these two very old, rather older work by the same artist, Marty Wilson, and admire her ability to ability as an actress, right, as a performer, and the ability to see the character of the person she is trying to portray and perform this character. Obviously, the similarity between these two faces is striking. So this is Bill Clinton on your left and Martha Wilson on the right, same artist.
Yulia, can I ask what the title of this work is?
The title is Name Equal Fate. Name equals fate. And the description is William Jefferson Clinton and Martha Story Wilson. Is made in 2009. Okay, so let me move to another wonderful series of works by Martha Wilson. where she again challenges herself by staging the 6 different women roles that society assigns to women, or the major 6 stereotypes that our society tries to box all of us. So the series, the 7 photographs, self-portraits, called A Portfolio of Models. Also, it is a very, very early work by Marty Wilson, 74. She did it in 1974. So at the same time when Cindy Sherman was doing her early portraits, also black and white photographs. So Marty Wilson called it A Portfolio of Models, and she supplies a little description for each of the models. So these are the models society holds out to me: goddess, housewife, working girl, professional, earth mother, lesbian. At one time or another, I have tried them all on for size, and none has fit. All that's left to do is be an artist and point the finger at my own predicament. The artist operates out of the vacuum left when all other values are rejected. So there is a lot of sarcasm in this text, but let's move to each individual model. Can you see it well?
Yes.
And look at them rather quick. How are we doing for time?
It's 12:43, so say we've got another 15 or 20 minutes.
Okay, wonderful. So let me go through this 7 characters, 7 models, so you have an understanding of all the stereotypes that society divides women, and see if it still holds true in 2021. So the Earth Mother, right? The working girl.
Gotta tilt your the computer up just a little bit. Perfect.
The lesbian. Remember, it's all the same artist. Marty Wilson, she represents all of these goddesses. The housewife, and the descriptions are so interesting. She said, this woman aspires to goddessdom, but she is compromised by some everyday realities. She cannot spend all day on her face because she has to feed the kids. She cannot starve herself bad slut thin because she has to keep her strength up. Sex is a routine part of her life, whether it be an exciting one or an unpleasant one. If she wants to be kinky, she might swap. She is intelligent but has convicted herself convince herself that she is fulfilled. The professional. And the goddess. Her presence is felt by both men and women, and every member of society past the age of 5 is aware of her. She is the fashion model archetype, an implicit image of reference. She always looks perfect. She also smells wonderful at all times. She has sex appeal, however, she is asexual. Look, but don't imagine. Whether she is intelligent is irrelevant. So do you recognize any of these characters today? Any models?
That's a great question. Or I might add, are there more characters or stereotypes that we would add today?
Correct. Good question.
What do you think, folks?
I feel like today there would be a lot more stereotypes, just in general of like just kind of like all groups of people like that. There's just an absurd amount that it's to the point where it's kind of hard to like keep track of all of them.
Mhm. Why do you think we need all these stereotypes? Why cannot we be open and stop trying to put people into the boxes of stereotypes?
Katie's hand is up. Go ahead, Katie.
Well, I was gonna say something to the fact, maybe I wouldn't add more stereotypes here, but I feel like more like in modern times they expect you to be more than one stereotype. Like you kind of got to be multiple at the same time, and that can be impossible.
Yeah, perfect answer, because early on in my talk, I mentioned that we play multiple roles in our life all at the same time. During one day, we switch from one role to another several times. We are, again, students, and then we are sisters, and then we are kids, and we are well, not mothers maybe yet, but there are so many different roles we have to play. And sometimes it's very, very confusing. Okay.
I was going to say in response to your question earlier, Yola, about why do people feel the need to put people in boxes or in these stereotypes? I feel like it's just because people, it's just a reflection of themselves, or like something they don't understand, or they're, I don't know, maybe just afraid of even. So like they kind of just put it, or say this and that and like put it in a box. But on the flip side of that, I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to be put in a box as well. Like kind of like be as you are and don't feel like you need to be liked or need to be, I don't know, appreciated by that, but the people that are putting you in these boxes.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree, Nigel. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Okay, so let me move to another room where we are exhibiting another artist who are challenges the issues of patriarchy and issues of women suppression and women rights. So this is the room for Karen Finley, and Karen Finley is a very well-regarded artist. She will be giving a talk later today at 2:30. So if you are interested to learn more about her work, early work and the work right now, you can tune in. The work here has some offensive language, so I just wanted you to be aware of that, and perhaps some offensive imagery, but hopefully you will appreciate the very recent work by Karen Finley. So what? Let me show you this this installation that perhaps will be easier for us to start with. Do you see it well?
Yeah, I don't think we'll be able to see all of it at once, but this is a nice kind of balance where we can make out the individual elements, but also see them in context.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. So Karen Finley uses the old pages of Vanity Fair, cookbooks, some children's books, dictionaries, to write her comments. This is her writing about the place of women that they used to perform or take in our society. Similar to Marty Wilson's, right? The models that we just left. This is a similar subject. Karen Finley continues the same thought. She critiques the roles, the roles that women were asked to play in our society, and these roles were defined by, of course, by our patriarchal society. So these roles are stereotyped, are dismissive. They are very oppressive as well. And for instance, let me move closer to this Vanity Fair page, where we have this photograph of a woman, and Karen Finley writes, "It's my body," right, on this photograph. So she comments on the photograph because, as we know, right, a photograph of this kind exposes this beautiful female body to the male gaze. Everybody can see this body when they browse the magazine. So Karen Finley asserts that there is a power of the male gaze, and maybe this model didn't want her photograph to be taken, or has not given her consent for this photograph. So she challenges the male gaze that is free to browse and look at this photograph without any constraints. So here in this on this page on Woman Hater, 1932 dictionary, she writes Equal Rights Amendment. On those two beautiful photographs of flowers, can you see them?
Yes.
It says, in all her seductive beauty and the patriarchy. So here, Karen Finley critiques the idea that that these flowers stand for femininity and stand for female beauty. And often we say to a woman, "Oh, you are my flower." And this is rather denigrating to a woman. So here she uses the cover page for the Gone with the Wind. It's a classical novel, right? American classic. And she says, there is no romance story in slavery. So this is a direct reference to the story of the Gone with the Wind, where, of course, slavery has never been mentioned, but is very much present. So there is a lot of commentary on contemporary issues, political issues, that the artist includes in her writing. And although this is not portraiture, but by writing, by commenting on these images, Karen Finley implies her voice and implies her presence. So I know that although you are writing about your assignment for this class is to write about a portrait, but portrait can be a very different image as well. So when you think about your assignment, you can consider this type of work as a portrait as well, because the artist is present here through her writing, her voice is present, her strong opinion is present as well. So in a way, it is a self-portrait, although we don't see Karen Finley here, as we don't see her face in the work. Okay, so how do we have time, or do you want me to talk a little bit about the paper?
Well, it's 1 o'clock, so we should probably wrap up. I'm gonna have the students meet me for the second half of class in our Blackboard space. So we'll talk about the paper then.
Okay.
But if there's a last work you want to show, or if people have questions that they want to ask, this would be a good time.
Of course, please do ask questions, although I have a couple of more work to talk about, if you like.
Are there any questions? Well, then let's look at these last examples. And then we'll take a break and the students and I will meet again in Blackboard Collaborate.
Wonderful. So these are two artwork by Laura Elkins. Remember seeing her work early on when we just entered the exhibition, the work by self-portraits as Greta. So these two canvases are also by the same artist, Laura Elkins. And here we see that she paints herself as two first ladies, right? One is on your left is Maimie, who is the wife of which president?
Eisenhower, I think.
Eisenhower, yes. And on your right, she paints herself again as Kennedy. As the wife of President Kennedy. But it's Jacqueline Kennedy. So what's a couple of things to better understand these portraits. So on your left is a portrait of Maimie. And she is painted to commemorate the September 11th tragedy. So Laura, although she was an earlier, Eisenhower was not a president during 9/11, but the artist decided to bring Maimie in, and she applied the dust, the earth from the tragedy, 9/11 bombing. She applied ashes. So if we come closer to the surface of the painting, we can see the ashes from the 9/11 bombing. So the artist decided to have this gesture of commemoration, although it is a very formal portrait. And portrait that the president's wife wear this dress, ball dress, and the scene of that portrait is very different from the bombing. You won't make a direct connection, right? But the artist decided, Laura Elkins decided to transport this figure into September 11 tragedy by applying the ashes to the surface of this canvas. Again, this is the same artist. We can recognize her facial features, but she really performs excellent personages, impersonates different characters so well. And this is a wonderful wallpaper that she painted this portrait on. And you can see again the very gestural brush stroke. There is a lot of ambiguity. The figure is kind of emerges from that opulent Victorian wallpaper. So the artist plays on Jackie Kennedy very illustrious career and very high profile image. Am I showing, do you see it well?
Yeah, it looks great. Thank you so much for sharing this exhibit with us, Yulia. Does anybody have questions before we take a break and say goodbye to Yulia?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Katie.
Is there any way to see the exhibit in person right now, or is it like limited because of coronavirus?
The gallery is open, and we would love to see you in the gallery in person. We are open Mondays through Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and you don't need to make an appointment. We are open for everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Not at all. Make sure that you will stop by before March 5th, which is the next Friday. We will be taking the exhibition down on Saturday. So next Friday is your last day.
Ethan, go ahead.
Are we allowed to like photograph a work in the gallery for this assignment?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Not even allowed. You must photograph and post on Instagram and tell how wonderful the exhibition is, or how interesting the exhibition is, or how unsuccessful this exhibition is. And so please share the images on the
Sure.
mass media.
All right, thank you so much, Yulia. Let's give a virtual round of applause to Yulia.
Thank you so much. It's such a joy always to speak about the exhibition. It's always great to to express myself and communicate my thoughts with you guys. So always welcome, anytime.
All right, so let's take a 10-minute break and I will see all of you on Blackboard Collaborate at 1:20.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So any comments, suggestions for the next time?
Well, first, the show looks fantastic. Congratulations.
It wasn't an easy show.
Yeah.
Wasn't an easy, I don't know if you know this story about Karen Finley.
I think I want to hear that story, but I think we should do it at a different time.
I can send you the letter that she wrote. Mm. Went right to the administration. Okay. Mhm. Do you want the different setup of the artwork for the evening tour?
I don't think so. I think this went great. It was a great selection of work. I think it really showed the range of the exhibit.
Let me briefly show you something. Do you want me to show this to your students? So Karen Finley paints with her breast milk.
Wow.
Yeah, it's you know, you have to, what you tell me. It's you know, it's pushing the boundaries. So if you want me to show to your students, I can. It's an early piece, 1980s, I think. And this is another piece by her. It's really a you know, history of performance.
Yeah.
But you tell me.
How long is the clip?
1 minute. Both are 1 minute. 2 clips. So this is one piece. When, as you can see, she's very young here.
This is adorable.
Yeah, no. And this is another one where she paints with her milk breast.
Yeah, I think the clip of her nude in the gallery would fit really well. This clip or this video I think makes the most sense with the context or with kind of the setup that you gave for the other work of hers. Since it's not a contemporary class, we haven't talked about performance art or video art. We haven't even talked a lot about gender stuff. So I'm not sure that the students will have the context that they need to to really get a handle on this one. I think with what you say about the what's the name of the other work from with the magazine pages?
Call her air and grabbing pussy. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you said about those would help to set up the breast milk performance, because there's the whole indexical trace that there's a link there between those, and in the video we can see the indexical trace being made, but yeah, I don't know.
So for the evening, right? You want me to show this work, right? The pages, or not at all, or just do the Marty Wilson and Laura Elkins, and I have not showed this work at all. Let me show you the younger artists, that couch. I have not talked about this at all, the sculptural piece.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want me to do for the evening?
I definitely want you to keep Finley in, and I think the order that you did things just now was ideal, because the students are going to come to the Elkins conversation, so they'll get some exposure to her work one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So if those last self as portraits don't make it into the tour, like if we have longer conversations,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't get to those, that's fine. They'll see them elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you want to see? I mean, it's turned to be a difficult work, this contemporary work, for some of my visitors. So I thought it would be difficult for the students as well. So I didn't show this work, but you tell me. And this is a video of that person.
So not knowing this work or its context, the connection with portraiture isn't immediately clear to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think of all of the things to leave out, this was the right choice.
Okay.
But like I said, I don't know the context. If there's something that I'm not aware of, if there's a connection you can make,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think we need to complicate things.
Yeah.
So we'll do the same, right?
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Yulia, you're still recording.
Oh, okay, okay. Stop.
Do you know how to trim a video so we can cut this out when I post it for the students?
Yeah, not that I have done